Hello everyone, my name is AP the Weird One, and we are back with episode 11 and 12 of Full Metal Panic. I've decided to do both episodes, and I have my reasons. Both episodes are a bit lackluster in terms of the episodes. It could have easily been like a 45-minute episode. Like you could have easily combined the two, maybe even been a little bit shorter given the order of events, but you don't get a lot of meat for what it is. Like episode 11 is like a kind of the the build up to the big finale, and then the finale is kind of just it's a bit lackluster. So we'll get into it. So the first half of 11 is essentially just Kurt, Mao, and Sosuke running to the George Clinton ship, where that's where the three girls and Callahan are being held hostage, and that's also where the big thing Behemoth is. Then like there's some a little bit more philosophical stuff with it, but basically in this scene, Kurt is telling Sosuke, like, you should have chosen when they are having the hostage situation, like, tell him, like, you should have chosen the woman that you love. And he's kind of confused by that. He just chose the one that made more sense. And I mean, I think you could make an argument that he likes Tessa as well. I don't know. This was just whatever. The pacing of characters falling in love is just very weird, and it will more or less continue on that pathway. But we also have a little bit of philosophical moment between Callahan and Takumi's sister, in which this is another aspect is there's like information that's left out that, like, what are we talking about? So Takuma's sister had actually killed himself. He Takij basically killed himself, and basically Takumi's sister, the pilot of the Behemoth, the big red machine, she's like, he remembers in a certain way, like he remembers him being a hero, someone who trained her. And Callahan and both had a little philosophical moment, like, where it doesn't matter how he ended up, but like what you interpret them as is more important. From like, it just, whatever makes you feel happy, or as how interpretation of it. And she's like, oh, that's kind of philosophical. Like, you should have been a priest or whatever. Like, you should be holding down the Bible. I'm like, oh, that's a better profession. Takumi's sister assumes that he is the leader because she wants to learn about the Lambda drive, but that's not the person who knows about it. Another thing that this episode is going to keep in mind, so Takumi is someone who is capable of using the Lambda drive, and I'll get to that a little bit 12, but I have another aspect that's also bugs me. And I should have realized this from the beginning, but anyway, so she knows that the Chidori and Tessa are on our way, and like, we're going to torture them to get their information out of you if necessary. They're kind of brought back to the area. They have a little talking moment. The talking moment is a bit weird, but I will, like, they have a moment together. Tess is like, I've been so stupid. Like, I should have not obeyed Sosuke's orders and chased after you. I try to act all tough. I've been acting very irrational. And then and she's like, tells Chidori, like, why aren't you afraid? It's like, oh, because I have my reasons. I want to get back to this scene. Anything that's basically an enemy, I want to counterattack, whether it's like a person or like something that's ruining my life. It could be someone with a gun or someone not. It's like, okay, like, you want to get rid of it. I guess you have that moment. And there's information that's left out, but we believe that she did something kind of stupid when she got back home from being in the U.S. With her sister and dad. And it's like she got maybe bullied. There's information left out, which is another thing that this both 11 and 12 just don't make very clear. But they have this little moment. We got the idea that Takumi's sister, or as we'll find out later in episode 12, or adoptive sister, he slaps her a couple times, and he's like, for being such an idiot. And I think in some respects it makes sense. Um, because he dropped the pills that made him go crazy. It's like, so she slaps him a couple of times, but then when he's forced to get Behemoth after getting an injury, then he's like, okay, that's where you know that's bad. And essentially, he kind of has no choice. I mean, they're gonna be fucked up either way, but maybe, um, they'd be in jail, or whatever. But they could have had like a different life. But she's just super focused on revenge. It's like, okay, but so we have the Sasuke and Kurt and all of them going try to get the location, having their little moments, and then these two. Then because they when they get to the George Clinton, the ship, they notice the AS that's Mao is piloting, and they call in the reinforcements. We're gonna see a little bit of them, but we do get to see him fly away. You see him flying in. They're pretty cool. They're known as a 96. They're known as the 96 models. I will show you better look in just a second. But they basically call in, and then the end of the episode is basically the Behemoth activating. It grabs Mao by the chest, and we're gonna have another stupid moment in a little bit. But that's essentially where it ends. One thing we do learn about the Lambda drive is that if you have a gigantic machine that's like overweight, the Lambda drive can support the weight. Like it can provide like a little bit of like a levitation, so to speak. That's kind of how I interpret the events. I mean, the Lambda drive could be interesting, but when he gets into the Behemoth and starts activating, it looks like he is a whisper. I'm like, well, Sosuke is not a whisper, and so you need a special kind of person. Maybe being a whisper helps a little bit more, or like being a semi in tune to being a whisper. But it's just kind of weird. Like, oh, this is so stupid. Maybe being part whisper helps you to achieve the goals. But I mean, if in one simple case, like I guess whisper. No, the whisper could activate it. Could activate is easier to activate. It makes sense and it doesn't make a little bit of sense, but we'll kind of do it in discussion. But I guess if you're a whisper, then it makes it easier to activate everything at once. But I feel like if the terrorists didn't make such a large, humongous machine, something a little bit faster paced, something a little bit like Garon's, and just maybe had an access to a shit ton of weapons to do what they needed to do, you could have like the girl could have piloted it, and like you could have had him like in the back, like have like a back seat, and it's like, hey, just believe in yourself and everything, and you can activate it. Just like sort of Sosuke and Chidori's Chidori do. So they could have basically had that. They could have had that moment, but okay, that kind of a little bit bugged me. But I guess if you're just having a giant machine, anyway. Moving to the next episode. All right. So we have a couple in the beginning that just irritate me. So Mal's got her hand crushed, and we have this slow reaction to where Tessa doesn't like Tessa's reaction to the Mal being in the machine. I'm like, why is it taking you so long to react to that? And then when she finally does it, like her machine gets crushed. Now I will spoil, Mal does get saved, but it's like, oh, that's so dumb. And then we get the fact that Takumi is in love with Tessa, and that's why he's chasing her around. I'm like, where is this brought up? I'm like, oh god, this is so dumb. Like they have not established this, that they like that he has feelings. I'm like, she's so thick-headed. I'm gonna make her pay. Like if I can't have her, then no one can. I'm like, oh god, this comes out of nowhere. I hate this motion. And when the Behemoth is trudging around, there's some bad still frames. I'm like, it looks like they're moving it with a piece of paper. I'm like, but we do get to see a little bit of the 96 thing. This looks like a turtle. I like it. It's not. I mean, if you consider like a basic GM model, it's like, I like the GM a little bit better, but this is cool. I dig it. I dig the design. I think there'll be some more ASs in the future, but I do appreciate that. One thing I am a bit surprised is that they didn't get the authorization for the to use the Arbalest earlier, but okay, we'll keep that in mind. That's all right. I think if Tessa would ever gets kidnapped, maybe they would send it out already. But okay, whatever. Anyway, the other aspect of this episode that bugs me, half the episode is the Behemoth chasing Kurt and Mao and no Kurt and Sosuke, all four and the two girls and a Suzuki carry. Hey, nothing wrong with that, but it's just so like half the episode, and then when it gets the actual fight scene between the Arbalist and the Behemoth, it's over so damn quick. I mean, realistically speaking, they have a couple of fire shots. Tessa and Chidori are like kind of basically safe, and like they have a moment where Tessa's whispers can talk to each other, and she whispers out basically how to take out this thing. There's a cooling system, and essentially it's crotch, and if you do that, it's essentially over. Which okay, but it just I hated the fact the episode like lasts for like half the episode is like 12 minutes. I'm like, this could. It's why I kind of wish 11 and 12 were combined together. It would have made so much more sense than just dragging it out. I know the light novel is going to be a little bit longer, but still, like, ugh, I hated it. It's like a intermittent volume that just does not like work. I just don't like these 4 episodes of this arc. But yeah, the Arbalist is able to take it out. But he's of course dead. He mistakes Tessa being her older sister because he's on his deathbed. The Takumi's fake sister because he realized he has a chat with Callan that Takumi killed his actual sister and then kind of adopted it in his mind through the drugs and everything. But so it kind of his deathbed. And then at the end there's 2 big revelations. Tessa has finally decided to give the Arbalist to Sosuke for him to kind of use permanently, so it's kind of always in Japan instead of aboard the Toothless. That's kind of cool. But then she declares, I have a crush on Sosuke, so we're going to form a love triangle. And of course, Sosuke doesn't hear this. Only Chidori and Kurt hear this. I'm like, okay. So, Chidori at this point is not even sure, or it's advanced way too damn fast. When I get to, I'm gonna read I'll read the more. I have an idea how I'm gonna handle I'll read the side chapters more, but I feel like there should have been more build up to that. Like, I think we needed a lot more. We needed a few more fun episodes, I would say. I don't know. That aspect to kind of just bug me. Like, okay, these two are both in love with each other. I think Tessa I can sort of agree with, but given how Chidori reacts around him, I don't buy that 100%. But this is young teenage love, and it is a B movie, so I'm like, okay, whatever. But yeah, I don't really like episode 11 and 12. They're both not that good. 12 pisses me off a little bit more just because we spent half the episode on chasing scene. But yeah, I'm going to end it here. In the next part is going to be a funny scene. It's going to be between Mal and Tessa, which is like in the light novel section. It's in like volume 3 of the short stories and like near the end. So look forward to that. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Maybe Wednesday, maybe Thursday. I'm not 100% sure, but I will get the volume 2 of the light novel. I am going to be pretty busy tomorrow with both a dog appointment for my poor boy, and then I've also got a doctor's checkup. But anyway, none about that stupid stuff. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully have a wonderful day.